We're going to start with 3 of the Seahorse from Dollar Tree and 2 pieces of their craft wood. I have, I think, a full piece and a piece I've used before, the 10-inch chunky slats. And I love these Seahorses. With previous DIYs, I've just left them plain because they're so cute. But for this one, I thought we would give it some red, white, and blue fun and make a cool little 4th of July decoration. So I'm going to leave one white, so I don't need to tape that, but I am taping the bases. They are like that resin ceramic, but they look like wood and they look cool, so I'm going to leave them like that. And we're going to paint the other two. So for the first one, I'm going to paint it red. The color I have is, I think it's just bright red acrylic by Delta. You can do kind of whatever color red you want. I don't like too much the red and royal blue. I usually try to go with either a beachy blue for the blue or a navy blue. So today I'm going to do a navy blue. So I'm doing red, white, and like navy blue. I just think it looks really nice together. Now, as you can see, there are lots of little nooks and crannies on this Seahorse, so it does take a brush and a little bit of work to get all of that covered. And we are going to distress it to make it look cool like the original one too, but this is going to be the base color, like white is the base color on the other one. So this is the navy blue color. Goes on a little bright, but it dries a little bit darker. And same thing, we're just going to go over the whole thing. You want to paint your front and back, and we're going to put this all together and make a really cool USA patriotic display. Now, on my patriotic videos here on YouTube, I do both coastal and non-coastal because not all of you guys decorate coastal, and so I will be doing some of the non-coastal as well, but for today we're doing all coastal. Now for the craft wood, I have 2 pieces. What I want it to be is stacked, so it'll be taller, so I'm going to stack them on top of each other. So I'm going to want it long enough for 3 of these, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use my longest piece and just use a pencil and sketch out 3. I'm also going to want an extra piece to make one of them higher, so I'm going to go ahead and sketch out a 4th one. Now on this board, I'm also going to cut it here because I told you I want to stack it double to make it taller. So I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to cut here with my saw, and I have 3 pieces of wood now. So just going to give them a quick sand. What I want to do is try to distress this wood to kind of make it look like the base of the Seahorses, which looks like wood, but it's not wood. So it's going to be a little challenging to get it to like kind of go together. I want it to look like old driftwood. So I'm going to put it together first though. So I just use hot glue to attach my 2 pieces of wood together. I use Gorilla Glue hot glue. It works pretty good for wood. And just make sure I squeeze that in there. And since I sketched this out, I know exactly where to put the top block. And I glue that in place too. I want the Seahorse in the middle to be the highest. Now, I did like a 3-step process to kind of stain and age this. First, I took some Antique Wax by Waverly and some water. And we're going to do a really light stain, see what this does to the wood, just letting that soak in. And as you can see, even though the wood's the same, it kind of stains a little bit differently, but that's okay. So I do that on the front, the sides. We're going to do that all the areas that are visible up here on the riser, just in case you can see any of that when I attach the Seahorses to it, and the back just to make it look nicer. And that looks pretty good, but as you can see, it doesn't really look like the wood on the Seahorse. So I'm going to do a little wash of gray acrylic paint just by using a paper towel and like a baby wipe and just kind of wiping that over the stain to see if I can get it about the same color scheme. And that's starting to look a little bit better. So I'm going to do that all over just to give it a little bit of a gray stain. Sometimes I, instead of Antique Wax by Waverly, will use gray to stain wood to look like driftwood. It's going to give it that old weathered wood feel, which is what I'm going for. And then the final step is I'm going to distress it with just plain Antique Wax by Waverly. I put that on there and just wipe off the excess, and it gave it a little bit more of a warmer wood. But with gray undertones and all the other little steps we did, and it gave it really a cool look. So I'm going to do that on the top and the back. The ends don't really need too much work. They're kind of like raw wood there on the end, and they kind of just soak everything up. Now for the letters, I'm just going to freehand it. I'll show you how I do it. I just kind of know my sections right. So I just do a big U, an S, and I'm using my Posca paint pens. I have a whole set of these now, like almost every color, I think. I love them. They work so good. You can get them on Amazon. I have them available in my Amazon shop. They are the best paint pens I've ever used, for real. And then I went in and just made my letters a little bit fatter and just put little lines on the end to kind of make them look a little bit cooler. I want them to look like big block letters for USA, one for each one of the seahorses. Once I painted them on there, I just went in and sanded them with my sanding block, just to kind of give them that coastal farmhouse distressed look. And then between the letters, I wanted starfish. The only starfish I had were these. These came from one of my viewers. I think she got these at Hobby Lobby. Fun little seahorse shapes, but you could always use the little tiny seahorses from the clothespins at the Dollar Tree. I think those are about the same size. To paint them, they don't need very much paint, and I don't want to fill up those great starfish holes, so I'm just using a paper towel and a little dot of paint, and that worked really well to give them a light coat of red and blue without filling up the little holes. And then I just went over and gave them a quick little sand, kind of give them that little bit of a coastal farmhouse vibe as well. And I'm going to do red, white, and blue, so I want to alternate where my red and blue are, so I'm going to do blue on the left and red on the right, and I just attached them both with a dot of hot glue, filling in the spaces between USA. So let's check out how our painted seahorses are doing. I let them dry, but I still had to dry them a little bit with my heat gun because, you know, paint kind of pools up a little bit inside there. To distress them, I just took a makeup sponge and some white acrylic, and I'm just dragging it. Putting just a little bit of paint on there, dragging it over, and it gives it that great pattern that it had originally. If you get too much in any little area, just use a baby wipe or something, or the original paint color to go in and touch it up. But doesn't that like make it look so much better? It brought out all that great detail on these seahorses. I absolutely love these seahorses. They were short living, but I found them in the regular aisle at some of my stores, like in with the home decor, as well as with the shore living line. They're so pretty. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here with the blue seahorse. I'm not going to have to do anything with the white seahorse. The white seahorse is distressed with like wood look, which is fine. And then both of these are distressed with white, which gives it that red, white, and blue look. Little touch up on my seahorse face there. I distressed a little heavily. And then I just went in and removed my painter's tape that I was using to protect the base. And we have our red, white, and blue seahorses. Now it's just a matter of putting it together. You could just stack it on there, but I want mine to be a finished piece and all stay together. So I attach my seahorses with hot glue. And the red, the blue. On this side, I want it to be red, white, and blue. And then for the one that we raised up with the second or the third block, I guess, we're going to put that right in the middle. That is the white one. That's what it's looking like so far. Right here, hot glue the last one in place. And I absolutely love how this turned out. It is so cute, and I can't wait to display this for the 4th of July. Isn't this so pretty? So I know some of you guys were looking for ways to DIY these seahorses, and most of us have been like, oh, we just leave them alone. Well, here is a DIY where you DIY the seahorse as well. They look fantastic painted, and they look really cute on this little rustic base we made, USA, with a little starfish on there as well.